you actually do this? How would you, if you say, okay, that Jeff, you're sort of making sense. So what does it actually mean to do this? First of all, this is what I would say. Get under God's protection. Say, God, I want your protection. I want your help in my relationships. Second thing, get your parents' protection. You might want to ask them to sit down, first of all, so they don't hurt themselves when they fall over. And come to them and say, Mom, Dad, Mom or Dad, whoever it is that you've got in your life as parents, how about you go watch this video that Jeff did? So you know what I'm on about. And then you can say, look, I want that. I want protection. I want safety in my life. I want the freedom that comes from being under your protection. I want your help because you've been there, you've done it. And yes, it was different when they were teenagers as far as what culture was like, but it wasn't different as far as what human beings were like. Human beings were the same when your parents were kids as they were when your grandparents were kids. Human beings haven't fundamentally changed. Whether they did it great as teenagers or whether they screwed up their teenage years, they've got some wisdom to offer you. So you ask them for that. Ask them for help. Now there's a couple things. What if they're just completely disinterested and really don't care? Or what if your parents, who are supposed to be the ones offering this protection to you, have instead been the ones doing the damage in your life? In those two situations, which are pretty extreme situations, there are a couple important things to remember. Jordan said one of them before, which was spot on. You put yourself under God's protection. That's a much bigger umbrella than your parents can offer. Even though it's not this immediate physical thing where they're there in the same house as you kind of thing. But there's a protection there. And in fact, God says several times in the Bible, he says, I'm a father to the fatherless. And God has a special care for people whose parents are not involved in their kids' lives, or whose parents are dead, or whose parents are rotten. God says, I'll step in there and I will care. That's the first thing. Second thing, if your parents aren't interested, there are people in your life who will help. People at I-61, maybe other family members that you're close with. There are people around you who can help, who can give you wisdom, who can give you some of that protection. So you can go to them and talk to them. But if if your parents just aren't there for you, which in extreme cases they aren't, then there are other things that are there. And if you look around, you'll find, actually, I can get the help that I need. There are people who can help me and support me. So there's God and there's other people if your parents aren't interested. Last thing, why do we do this? Why would I come and tell you to go tell your parents that you want them to have input into your relationships? Is it because I'm just a big sadistic jerk?
Maybe.
Or is it so that it will go well with you and you'll live a long time? It's because I want life to go well for you guys. I want things to be good for you guys. And if we ignore this idea of being under authority, the authorities that God's put in our lives, then what happens is we set our own selves up for danger. And our own selves up for hurt and heartbreak and all that kind of stuff. Now, I realize that there's nothing at all even slightly hip and trendy about anything I'm saying tonight. But what I am saying is stuff that will help you, that will protect you, and in the long run will give you a lot more enjoyment and a lot more freedom to enjoy your teenage years and the relationships that you have.